Alright, this is TheNinjaFalcon here, and going to go ahead and bring you a video of how to use DAC, Dynamically Created AI. So, very simple mod. It's kind of hard to understand when first using it. First step is you're going to make a unit, name it S1. That's all you need. You're going to be playing as this unit, so you can't just toss this off the map, and it's just a type of intelization type thing. This is who you're going to be playing as, and that's how the mod can identify you as a player. So yeah, you're going to name that S1. Then you're going to go ahead and go to Game Logic, DAC Insurance. There's a lot of stuff you can actually do with this little marker, but just to just quickly get into this mod and be able to play around with it, spawn in enemies, and create missions just right off the bat, that's all you really need, unless you want to get or very more detailed or just specific about what you want on the map. Next is going to be triggers, and there's this little phrase I copy out of the short installation. It comes with the mod, so whenever you download it, you just have to go to mod folder, and it should be in there as a readme. But yeah, this holds a lot of different pre-formatted codings, which are what I'm about to go over. But yeah, I just like to copy and paste these and then just edit the numbers to fit what I'm using or what I'm doing. So paste it in, and let's go through the radius. The size doesn't matter, it needs to be a rectangle, and the activation needs to be game logic repetitively. Present, countdown, you're good to go. Then you need to name it. Easiest way is just to name it zone 1 or zone and then a number Z and a number or some type of initial, because that's what it's going to have to be named for the zone name. So this line or this code right here is making a zone. This is going to be the zone name, and it has to match the trigger name. This variable right here is just going to be whatever you want to name it. I'll go into this a little bit more as I add more zones. These three numbers are, this is for the zone ID. This is whether the zone is active or not. 0 for active, 1 for not. And the third number is if there's any events that need to play out before the zones run. So some of the advanced functions of DAC I'm not really going to go over. I'm just going to go over the more simpler things. And then these four numbers. All this, these brackets, this first bracket is units, then it's wheeled vehicles, so Jeeps and whatnot, and then tracked vehicles, which tanks, APCs, whatever you can think of that are just heavier armor. And then the fourth is for either helicopters or camps. Helicopters are going to be 000, and then camps are going to be 0000. You're going to add an extra 0 for a camp. So that's how that bracket shares two different unit fields. Not going to worry about that yet. I will come back to it. And then this is the side it belongs to. This is this number. So the first 0 is the side it belongs to, which is east. Second 0 is the waypoint, or not the waypoint. That would be the third 0. The second 0 is the unit configuration. So if you're using a custom unit file, which I'll go into in another video, you just change that number. So in fact, you don't have to be using a custom unit the custom unit config. If you put it to 6, it's going to be insurgents. If you put it to 1, it's going to be U.S. troops. If you put it to 0, it's going to be Russians, etc., etc. There's again, the config file I'll go over in a later video. For now, just 0 or 1. 0 for Russians, 1 for US, or 6 for insurgents. That should pretty much cover anything you're going to use when you're first learning this mod. Third one is waypoint configuration, I believe. And behavior configuration. Okay, I'm sorry. The third one, 0, they're going to act like East units. 1, they're going to act like US units. So pretty much that's just going to match whatever side. So if this is a 1, then that's going to be a 1. And if this is a 0, then this is going to be a 0. And then the final one is waypoint configuration, which is, you rarely have to actually mess with that. Again, most of these are, or if you want to be more detailed, you can actually just overlook them and use the general settings. Now back to the units. First number is the amount of groups. I want one group because it's just going to be me by myself. And then 1 is going to be between 2 and 6. 2 is going to be between 2 and 8. 3 is going to be between 2 and 10. And then 4 is going to be between 2 and 12. So I'm just going to put that to 1, but relatively small group. The next number is the amount of waypoints in this zone. So let's say there's 10 total waypoints, and I want each group to have 10 waypoints. That's exactly what that is. So the fourth number is how many waypoints each group is going to have. So there's 10 waypoints, and each group is going to have 10. If I added a second group, then I'd have to add or increase the total number to 20. You don't really have to do that, but if you want if you want to make it more dynamic, then you have to kind of let for or allow for more waypoints to be present, so they can for each unit group to kind of have their own path. If you only put 10, then they're going to be pretty close to each other most of the time, the two groups, and it's just going to be unrealistic. So let's lower that back down to 1. I'll go over these other fields later, but for now, one more thing I actually forgot. You need to make time greater than 1. So again, the radius doesn't matter. Rectangle, repetitive activation by game logic, present, and countdown. For the top, then the bottom, the name has to match the zone name, which is the first parameter, and then whether the zone or the zone ID, whether the zone's active or not, and then the whether there's events before the zone, uh, and then units. One group that's going to consist of 2 to 6 people. They're going to have 10 waypoints to choose out of, and they're going to be assigned 10 of those waypoints. So hit OK. This is where they're going to spawn. So if I put them just right in town, that means there's going to be one group that's patrolling this town, holding this section of town. And if I go ahead and I'm going to put my guy real close and hit preview. Remember, always stop the fire, guys. Very important side note. Hey, armor's deciding not to work. Okay, there we go. Alright, receiving. And I'm in. And I have a nice gun too. Alright, so you'll see on the side that DAC will be initialized, so you won't actually see them. You have to give them time to actually generate and for the waypoints to be placed down. But see, there they are. So 3 people ended up being put down, and I'm just going to gun them down right here. So I'm going to get down because I'm using Ace. And this gun has really bad recoil. Apparently my aim sucks. And I think they're pretty much dead. No, they're shooting back. Yeah, they're pretty much dead. And I'm going to hit restart just to demonstrate. Again, it's random each time, so they might not even spawn in that same area. The area that they can spawn in is really small, so it's not that dynamic. But they ended up spawning in the same place. Now it's 4 people. So again, it changes every time. They'll actually patrol around the town. And with DAC, there's a few different things. If you load in a behavior script, which a lot of stuff I'll go in over in another video, they'll actually occupy houses. So there's a lot of little neat features about this mod. Now I'm going to show, I'm going to actually move them to a northern section of town. And I'm actually just going to copy, make sure I have it, and paste. Well, make sure you grab the copied version, not the original, because then you have to change 2 different variables, or multiple variables instead of just the one. Now, these 2 zones are going to be linked by the number 1. I'm going to name this zone 2. And fun, this variable will just stay the same. So if you're there's some more advanced stuff you can do where you might want to change this up. So there's either a reset of zone names where you can, or there's a reset of linked zones, so you can reuse the number one for a different side of the map or otherwise. But if you are just going to be doing really simple missions, then yeah, you can just keep it the same variable. They're going to both be linked, but this time around, it's going to be the same type of units, but I'm going to change it to side one. It's going to be just 111 across the board. And then the only thing that doesn't change is the the waypoints, I believe. Actually not sure what the fifth element there is. Oh, this is camp configuration. That's waypoints. So I'll go over these a little because I'll probably confuse you guys. I don't have any of this written down. I'm just doing this as I go off the top of my head. That's going to be the side they belong to. The next number is going to be the unit configuration. So remember, 0 is Russian, 1 is American, and the third is going to be the unit behavior. So 1 for West, and then this is going to be the camp configuration. It just needs to be 0 unless you're actually doing a camp in this parameter right here. So, and then the last one is the waypoint configuration. Again, it doesn't really matter which one you use. You can use 1, or you can use 0, you can use 1. They're pretty much all the same unless you actually go in and edit them yourselves and load the custom script into the game. So again, time equals 1. Nothing else has to change except for the zone name and those last numbers in the bracket. Everything else is done. And I'm actually going to put myself with these guys. And I'm going to do another unit. And this is going to be DAC. I'm going to name it, believe I have to name it markers. Actually, never mind. I'll leave that alone for a minute. And hit save. Test 1. I'm just going to hit test 1. And load. I do this a lot. I don't have all the code memorized. So whenever I'm needing to pull something from, especially these example maps, DAC markers, what I was looking for. There you go. I wasn't quite sure how it, let's see, go to the right map and load test 1. So, alright, so make a game logic and paste that in. DAC marker equal 9. The DAC marker will show how the units spawn on the map and where they're actually going. So I'm just doing this so we can verify that the two zones are going to have people going back and forth. So if I actually look at the map, you have the red zone and the blue zone. The blue zone is west and the red zone is east. And as you can see, they are linked by that purple line. And it should show my group heading there, but they are linked, so the groups will head in between these two zones. If you want to raise the probability of two zones actually messing with each other, all you have to do is say each group needed 10 waypoints. I would give each zone 5 total waypoints and the zone 10 waypoints to patrol. So there's no way that they'd have all 10 waypoints or a majority of those waypoints in their own zone. And as you can see, they're actually patrolling to the other town. So I'm going to go ahead and join up with them and see how this plays out. So we have 4 total, including me. And they're just heading toward the north part of the town, and we're probably going to see the other patrol heading towards the south part of the town. There are ways you can make these missions much more dynamic, but just for the sake of showing how easy it is to just make simple missions, I'm just doing this video real quick. So these guys are taking forever. I'm just going to run a little bit ahead and see where the other guys are at. Now, since this is randomized, the other group might not even ever come to our zone, and they might just be staying in their zone or in their town, area of the town, and my group might actually walk into an ambush. So it can be very dynamic, very random. You have no idea what's going to go or what's going to happen. I wish it would show the enemy forces for me, but it does not. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get up on this hill and see where the enemies are. Again, they will take positions inside of houses. I don't know if that actually requires the behavior script loaded in or if that will be automatic. But I will be going over to the how to load in custom scripts, or the custom config files anyway, in my next video. Just trying to find out where these people are at. That can't be one, is it? Nah, this is a pile of rubble. No, we haven't seen anybody yet. Surprisingly. Man, look at that shadow. I don't know how that shadow works. Like the sun is I don't even know. I'm on a mountain. I'm on a mountain. There's a wall behind me, but there's man, that's fucking black magic right there. Oh shit, shit's going down. Don't know where they're at though. Oh, see, they're right there. See. And there's one more. And he's down. I love this rifle, the SA-58. Whoop, and I'm down. Never mind. They probably had a sniper. And the groups are random as well, so sometimes you'll see maybe just riflemen and maybe an automatic rifle or medic, and then sometimes you might actually see a group of the sniper. Larger the group, the less random the group will be. They'll tend to pretty much get everything. But yeah, that's the basic setup for DAC. You just have to have this game logic on the field, a player with S1, and just creating these zones. So for one more reference, I'll just go over this real quick. The zone name has to match the trigger name. The zone ID number, whether the zone's active or not, 0 for on, 1 for off. And then if there's any special events that have to happen before the zone initializes. So on to the next. These are units. One group, size 1, which means 2 to 6 units. 10 waypoints total in their zone, but they'll take up to 10 waypoints from any zones that are linked. So there's actually 20 waypoints total for them to take. And then wheeled units, they follow the same principle as this right here. Wheeled units, tracked units too. I could actually copy. I'll actually cut this and paste it right there, just like that. And since it's the same numbers for both sides, just paste it, and I'll hit preview. So, and I'll wait for them to actually be loaded in. There's a few tricks you can do to make the DAC load faster, like, and I won't really go over those, but there's a Jeep, and on the other side they probably have a truck of their own. I'm gonna try and injure myself badly while trying to get into this Jeep. I'll get in the back. Whoa, broskies. Okay. And then I'll fast forward it. Again, they might just herp derp around their unit, and see, there we go. And then get out. Oh, and I got shot down. So, yeah, there you go. The fields are pretty much the same. The only thing that's different are helicopters. I'll be putting their own separate video just for them on how to incorporate helicopters very effectively into the missions. And so if you guys like this, please like, favorite, comment, subscribe. If you want to see more, feel free to ask. I mean, they're actually going to be right after this. I don't know. I might do another one right after this, in fact. But yeah, so next will be the config files. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments as well. Any questions from the previous video, I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope this tutorial kind of helped you familiarize yourself with DAC on how to use it and how to really easily set it up. And one last thing before I go. Whenever you download the mod, whether you do it through 6 or just through the site, through Armaholic or whatever, it will come with up to 33 examples on how to use it. and they're pretty well explanatory. They take a little bit they take a little bit to understand, but they're if you ever get confused using DAC, this is really you want to look at alongside my videos or anybody else's videos. I didn't see anybody else posting DAC tutorials, so that's why I'm actually choosing to do this. So yeah, and I actually pulled markers from the first one. So yeah, you can actually copy and paste from these if you want to help speed up missions. Really useful resources there as well. But yeah, thanks for watching. The next video out will be over how to do the config files.